Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of KSP Diaries. We're extremely excited to have Gopika Kapoor with us today. Gopika Kapoor, as we all know, is a writer and a communications consultant. She's the author of best-selling books, Spiritual Parenting, Spiritual Pregnancy, Spiritual Relationships, and of course her latest book, which is Spiritual Success. She was awarded the Young Picky Ladies Organization Women Achievers Award for exemplary writing in 2013. She works with Umeed Child Development Center, an NGO working with children and developmental disabilities. And of course, she's also a guest blogger on Kidsstoppress. Do join us for this hangout. You can also tweet your questions to us or Facebook your questions to us at Kidsstoppress. Or you could watch this hangout live on our YouTube channel, which is at Kidsstoppress. So Gopika, everybody, can we have a huge round of applause for Gopika, please? Joining us today on this conversation, we have Kiran Mandral, who's obviously everybody's favorite blogger, one of the women you must follow on Twitter, and she's a really dear friend. And her last book was Once Upon a Crush. If you haven't already read it, you must read that. Hello, Kiran.
Hey, Mansi. Hi, Gopika. Good to meet you.
You too. And we also have with us today Madhumita Chatterjee. Madhu is a reader of Kidsstoppress and obviously a super mom who manages many different hats. And I'm going to let Madhu introduce herself. Madhu.
Hi. It's a pleasure to be on your show, Mansi. Actually, I'm a storyteller by heart, and I've been in marketing professional for a long time, so that's something that I can't give up. So I'm juggling the hat of a storyteller and a marketing professional.
Gopika, how did the journey begin? How did all your books, the Spiritual Parenting, Pregnancy, Relationships, and now Spiritual Success, how did it all come about?
So I've always written. When I was a child, I used to write and I always wanted to be a writer, and so I studied journalism, and every journalist wants to become a writer eventually, and of course I want to follow that dream. Along the way I used to work with an NGO. I worked in communications, and I always kept writing. There was always some sort of writing happening in my life. And so when I had my twins, I took a break. There was no way I could work. And somebody, at the same time, what happened to me was I also started studying Vedanta.
Okay.
And that really influenced the way I brought up my kids. So I found I was very calm. I wasn't getting hassled about a lot of things. I was able to deal with all the ups and downs, the no sleep, the colic, everything. And so I was just talking to a complete random person I met at a party one day, and I was talking to them about this. And of course, the first reaction that I get is when I tell people I have twins, or especially when they were younger, was, "Oh my God, how do you handle it?" And I was telling them that I was quite okay about it. It wasn't as difficult as it seemed. And they said, "You know what? You should write about it." To be honest, I don't even remember who this person was. But I started writing. And it just almost was like the thoughts and the ideas and the words just flowed right through to me onto my computer. And that's how the book just got written in about a year. And that's it.
So no going about with a script from one publication house.
Oh yeah,
publishing
absolutely.
House to the other.
Absolutely. One reject letter after the other. But I think the whole fact that I went through this whole study of Vedanta really taught me that it's okay. I mean, reject letters will come. I think what was really important was that I had a lot of faith in my work. I had a lot of faith that somebody is going to love it and cherish it and enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed writing it.
But did you ever know that Spiritual Parenting will be the book it is? I mean, I don't know any parent who's not read Spiritual Parenting.
No, I could not imagine it. Honestly, I did know that it would be published. There was a very deep kind of understanding within me. I knew that it would be published, but I had no clue that it would be the way it is. No way.
How do you think things have changed in terms of what you wrote and its relevance 5 years back and today, and how does it just transcend into, generations to come can read it actually?
Actually, the book is based on principles which I forget about 5 years ago old. They are about 2000 plus years old. So a lot of the knowledge that the book is based on is stuff which is very, very ancient. And the beauty of this knowledge is that it applies as much today as it applied yesterday, and it will continue to apply tomorrow.
Right.
Yes, of course, the type of parents kind of come and go. We've got helicopter moms or parents. We've got tiger moms. So all these kind of typical, labels will keep coming in. But I think the beauty of this knowledge is that it will always, always apply.
What do you think has, really influenced you as a parent and an author that has changed you completely over the last couple of years? So, from the book until now, how has it all transitioned?
I think my kids. That's been the biggest influence.
Okay.
As a parent, I think nothing prepares you.
Okay.
Nothing prepares you for being a parent. It is the world's toughest job. It is.
Undoubtedly.
But I think it's like with anything else, it depends on how you approach it. If you're going to sit and cry about it and constantly crib about your kids having to do this and, I have to drop my kids here and they've got this going on and I've got to make them study, and you make everything a big stressor in their life and your life, it's going to be like that. As a writer, I think also, again, definitely having kids and because the whole journey started with spiritual parenting, but also I think studying Vedanta, studying how one lives life has influenced me as a writer. And again, the fact that I did my master's in journalism in Boston, where again the kind of writing that you're taught to do is a very crisp, tight kind of writing,
sure.
Which really, really made a difference.
We've also been joined by another lady here. Her name is Preeti Shah. Preeti, do you want to go for your first question for Gopika?
Yeah, Gopika, hi. I wanted to know, how do you balance your life between the kids and the family? And it's like a big question for today's moms. Like, at the end of the day, you're exhausted.
Yeah, I am. I'm not admitting I'm not. But I think it's just about confidence and about making sure that areas in my life are sort of balanced. So, for example, if I have, like last week, I'll give you an example. I had the book launch of my latest book. I had a wedding in the family coming up next week. So as you can imagine, it was absolutely insane. So I think what I decided is I'm just going to do my best. And ultimately, we all have to cut ourselves some slack and then forget about what's going to happen. It's almost, if you want to look at it in spiritual terms, it's almost applying this whole principle of nishkam karma, where you do your best and then you just leave it. And so literally, I told my daughter, I said, look, you're in the 4th grade. We're going to sit and I'm going to try and work with you as much as I can. But if you don't do very well, it's okay. Don't stress. It's all right. Just apply your knowledge, do your best, be smart about it, and that's it.
So how do you, Gopika, when you say just give it your best and, it's okay if you do well, so how does that kind of match up with, so there is obviously the spiritual success, but there's also success as we all see it, right? Which is, class mein beta first aana chahiye, sports mein first aana chahiye, athletics bhi karo, ye bhi karo, 20 different things they want to do, and everything he has to excel at. So how do you just calm yourself down and say, I'm going to do this with my child, it's okay wherever he fares?
Yeah. So which is exactly why I wrote Spiritual Success with my husband, who's a corporate lawyer and a life coach. The reason we wrote this book is because there are all these symbols of success which are out there, right? But is that really successful? You don't know what's going on behind the symbols.
Right.
So success, again, I feel is something which is very individualistic.
Right.
But to me, it is just doing your best, and then just leaving it.
Right.
It could be whatever you do. And of course, there is this whole pressure on parents to make their children achieve. And so, of course, the press, by osmosis, it transfers to their kids. And then we have all sorts of cases where kids are depressed or who need counseling and stuff like that. And in fact, I've written a chapter, my favorite chapter, I shouldn't be biased, in spiritual parenting is this chapter called The Perfect Child, which is about how we're putting all this pressure on our kids to like you said, athletics, studying, sport, art, music, do everything. Be very social, the life of the party. And then when it's almost it's like if your child is not like that, you may be imperfect, but you want that perfect child.
Yeah, we had, for Children's Day, we done a hangout about what kids really want. And all the kids seated in that room, all they told, like, when we asked them, what's that one message you want to give your parents? They all said, please don't compare us. Just let us be. I mean,
Absolutely.
that, and they were not young kids, Gopika. They were all between 9 and 12. So they had pretty much formed a mind of their own now. And their ambitions versus what their parents wanted them to be, like one was one wanted to be an artist, one wanted to be something else. And they all said that, but they say that our parents don't want us to be what we want to be.
And I think we're really lucky because our kids belong to a generation where if they wanted to do hairstyling, it's okay.
Right. Okay, Gopika, what's going to be your next book?
Okay, so I have written non-fiction for all these years, and I am seriously contemplating turning to fiction. I have no idea what I'm going to write about, but I just got this idea that now it's time that I write fiction.
For a fiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have no idea what it's going to be on. I don't know what it's going to be, but yeah.
It's going to be a fiction.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now we're going to have the last question, which is going to be answered by you only in a word.
Okay.
Parenting.
Love.
One thing you like to change about moms in India.
Being judgmental.
Okay. She said judgmental. One thing you'd like to change about Mumbai for kids.
Oh, make it cleaner and more open.
Okay. One advice for a parent who's taken a back seat and wishes for success.
You are being successful.
Okay. Outsourcing parenting.
It works to some extent, but ultimately you're the parent.
Okay. Banish this from a mom's to-do list.
Banish this from a mom's to-do list.
What's that one thing that you just want to...
Oh, God. Oh. Self-deprecation.
She said self-deprecation. When you lose your cool, you...
Shut myself into a room or the bathroom until I cool down.
Okay. Spiritual parenting in a word.
Spiritual parenting in a word. Loving yourself first so that you can love your kids.
Okay. You will achieve spiritual success if you
focus on what you're doing.
Okay.
And let the rest be.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. If you haven't already read Gopika's books, then here it is. This is the cover of her latest book, Spiritual Success. And this is her first book, Spiritual Parenting, which is a must-read for all moms. And it's also there on the Kidsstoppress to-read list for all parents, all Indian parents as well. And this is Spiritual Relationships. And yes, that is it. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Gopika.
Thank you. I had so much fun.